In the headlines, agricultural complex to help revolutionize agriculture in Dominica. Dominica welcomes first Romanian ambassador, and the Ministry of Justice explores new ground for resuming court services. Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Prisca Julien. Stay tuned for details of the headline stories and others coming up. Welcome back. The agricultural complex on the cards for the town of Portsmouth, according to the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, is expected to be a tool in the revolutionizing of Dominica's agricultural sector.
The commencement and the completion of this very important project that would certainly help in revolutionizing agriculture and assist Dominica in building greater resilience within our agricultural sector.
The Honorable Prime Minister gave details for the complex, which will include training facilities for farmers and other members of the Agricultural Division.
That facility will have a center for training, where our farmers and prospective farmers and the staff of the Ministry of Agriculture could be exposed to some of the advanced technologies in farming. Because we have to employ new technologies in farming if we're to survive in agriculture. Because in agriculture we are exposed to increased pests and diseases on the farms, and largely due to global warming and the change in the climatic conditions. And also the weather patterns, when we no longer have we have rainy season now in dry season, and dry season and rainy season. So there's a change, and farmers need to know, how do we manage this pest? How do we manage these changes in the climatic condition? How do we deal with issues of global warming on the farm? And this facility will provide that kind of technology transfer to us in Dominica.
Techniques in the practice of tissue culture will also be developed at this center.
It will also deal with advanced tissue culture approaches, because for us to build more resilience and more resistance in agriculture, we have to look at the planting material and the source of the planting material, and to ensure that the stock which we bring in, the tissue that we bring in, can withstand the pests and diseases in our farms. Because pest management on the farms is costing farmers about 25% of the cost on farming, 25%, and that's a significant cost. And I think if we can bring in more resilient plants and more resistant plants, we can see a bigger return for farmers.
Financial gain and increase in trade for farmers will also be a boon from this project.
The agricultural complex in Portsmouth, which will bring to Dominica a new thinking in agriculture, or more technologically based agriculture, which at the end of the day will increase production and productivity on the farms, and thereby increasing the investment returns for farmers, and increasing our possibility and opportunities for gaining more foreign exchange for agricultural produce.
The agricultural complex will be built from funds made available through a $120 million economic and technical aid agreement officially signed between the government of Dominica and the People's Republic of China on October 29, 2018. It was at that signing ceremony that the Honorable Prime Minister gave those details. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Reginald Austrie says the recent 80 homes commissioned by the Australian government in collaboration with the International Organization on Migration (IOM) for Dominicans are model climate resilient homes built according to the revised housing codes of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Honorable Minister was speaking at the official handing over for those houses earlier this week. Honorable Austrie says the updated codes was one of the steps taken by government soon after Hurricane Maria to ensure homes were built safely.
Very early in the process of housing repair and recovery following Maria, the government mandated a review of the building codes and the housing standards to ensure that every roof repaired and every house or building reconstructed was built to a climate resilient standard embedded in the Dominica Building Code. It is my understanding that the IOM worked with the Ministry of Housing, the Ministry of Planning, and the Physical Planning Division to observe these regulations.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing, Julien Blackmore, says the houses are built according to government's goals.
The 80 core houses that were built were done so in compliance with the declared and desired resilience declaration and standard as so vehemently articulated by His Honorable Prime Minister sometime just around 1 year last year while he was at the United Nations. And so we are elated to know that the Australian government and by extension the IOM have so positively embraced and responded to the appeal and vision of the government of Dominica in ensuring that Dominica becomes the first climate resilient country of the world. And as we said, and as has been declared by the Prime Minister, we want to do so by ensuring that the rebuilding that we are doing, our entire infrastructure, is built to resilience.
Meantime, Blackmore says these homes can be considered as steps forward to government's goals of ensuring that homes rebuilt for Dominicans are done in the most resilient manner.
The handover of the 80 core houses today, funded by the Australian government, brings the government of Dominica, and by extension the country, to 80 steps closer to the country's target of seeking to repair or to rebuild, 4,800 completely destroyed homes. Your contribution today, Your Excellency, marks about 2% of the required new construction that the country needs to make in order to recover the damages that we sustained during Hurricane Maria.
From passage of Hurricane Maria, 4,815 homes were destroyed and needed to be rebuilt, which represented 19% of dwelling homes. 6,573 homes needed roof replacement and strengthening, representing 26%. 7,228 houses needed moderate roof repairs, 28%, and 6,280 homes needed minor repairs. This was 27% of the housing stock. According to the World Bank, the total damage to the housing sector was estimated at 956 million EC dollars. In more news, the Commonwealth of Dominica last Friday welcomed Romania's first ambassador to the Commonwealth of Dominica in the person of Gentinia Serbu. Her Excellency Serbu presented her credentials to His Excellency Savre on Friday. During the presentation, His Excellency Charles A. Savre said he is looking forward to a fruitful relationship between the two countries.
Now that your country has accredited an ambassador to Dominica, I look forward to the development of a fruitful and lasting relationship between our two countries, exploring the potential for cooperation in the areas of mutual interest, such as tourism, health, education, agriculture, sustainable coastal development, renewable energy, and climate and disaster resilience.
President Savre spoke of the efforts being made by Romania to strengthen bilateral relations with CARICOM.
I note Romania's commitment to further strengthen and deepen bilateral relations as well as cooperation with CARICOM. This commitment is further accentuated in Romania's scholarship offers to member states of CARICOM for the 2018-2019 academic year. The pledge of $100,000 made in November of 2017 at the CARICOM UN High-Level Pledging Conference to help countries which were affected by Hurricane Irma and Maria to build back better, and the commitment to finalize a memorandum of understanding with CARICOM, as well as with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CIDIMA.
He also thanked the Romanian government for the support pledged to Dominica after the passage of Hurricane Maria in September last year.
I would like to take this opportunity to express the appreciation of the government and people of the Commonwealth of Dominica to the government and people of Romania with expressions of condolences and solidarity and offers of assistance in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Maria.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Julien, has assured the general public that much work is ongoing to ensure the courts become fully functional following the damage and delay caused by Hurricane Maria. Commodore explained that Dominica's court system is dealing with a unique situation and is trying to ensure proper steps are taken while charting this new course for resuming trials after a natural disaster the magnitude of Maria.
There are, for example, issues of what happens to evidence that has been destroyed during a natural disaster, which is something our legislation does not tidily or in a clear and concise manner provide for. This will, of course, affect how the chambers of the DPP and even defense attorneys, every attorney is able to reconstruct their files. It is also interesting that even when reaching out to the regional and international community on some of these points, we were unable to get any guidance. It means, of course, that we are breaking new ground.
She added the infrastructural aspect of the court is not being left behind.
We wish to emphasize that the idea that the court is being neglected is simply not true. Construction is currently ongoing, especially to repair to the criminal division of the court, as well as the civil division of the court, and Mr. Walsh will give more details on that. In the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, the Ministry of Justice, of course, had to relocate several offices, such as the office of the DPP, the company's registry, the magistrate's court, etc., just to name a few. Where we have not been able to complete construction, we have sought alternative means, such as renting, in the case of the Charles Pharmacy building, to house the magistrate's court, and the building of a temporary civil court at the registry building. Do not imagine, though, that we are satisfied with this. We are currently looking into repairing the Barracoon building, as we are aware that the temporary civil court is by no means ideal. In case of the criminal court, permission has been sought and was given to utilize the Parliament building.
The Permanent Secretary explained that case management has been ongoing and is a principal part for ensuring the criminal court resumes. She asks for patience and understanding of the process to ensure it is done correctly.
It is important to stress that after the type of devastation caused by Maria, the ensuing delay caused damage to files of both parties, that is the court as well as private attorneys. The only way criminal trials can resume is for the court to assess where it currently is. Therefore, case management has been undertaken and the registrar will provide more details of that. I will say on this point, though, that while we are aware that there are persons awaiting justice, we know that there are witnesses and victims whose lives are on hold. We know that there are persons on remand awaiting court dates and all the attendant issues that come. It is important not to paint a false picture to the members of the public about what is required to resume criminal trials. The impression that is being given that you can simply start court one day and that the Ministry of Justice is not actively trying to resume court negates all the preparation that the law requires and creates a false sense of what it truly takes to put a criminal trial together.
The Permanent Secretary was speaking at a recent press briefing for updating the public on the progress of the court. The Dominica Youth Business Trust joined over 170 countries in observing Global Entrepreneurship Week for 2018. The Global Entrepreneurship Week was observed in the second week of November 12th to the 16th, and held under the theme, Creating a Resilient Entrepreneurial Landscape Through Engagement.
Global Entrepreneurship Week is the world's largest celebration of innovators, job creators. During 1 week in November annually, GW inspires people everywhere through local, national, and global activities designed to explore their potential as aspiring entrepreneurs. Diverse activities, from large-scale competition to intimate network gathering, connect participants to potential collaborators, mentors, investors, who will introduce them to new possibilities and exciting opportunities.
The trust was officially launched in May 2004 and is an initiative of the Commonwealth Youth Program (CYP) and the Government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, with support from the Organization of American States (OAS) and the Caribbean Development Bank. Since its inception, 1,000 young entrepreneurs have graduated from this program, and the trust has disbursed more than 500 loans to young persons. Coordinator of DYBT, Kerry and Remy Timothy, gave details about one of the activities that will be held in observance of Global Entrepreneurship Week. The DYBT is collaboratively working with the Dominica State College to host a youth symposium under the theme, The Impact of Community Tourism on the Local Economy.
On Tuesday, the 13th of November, DYBT collaborates with the Dominica State College to host a youth symposium under the theme, The Impact of Community Tourism on the Local Economy. This symposium starts at 11:30 a.m. at the Dominica State College. The objective of the symposium is to sensitize students and potential entrepreneurs about community tourism, to share best practices on community tourism, and to identify entrepreneurial avenues that impact Dominica's community tourism experience. This would also allow students to understand the economic benefit of community tourism.
Also this week, over 30 individuals received certification after completing training conducted by the Dominica Youth Business Trust. Timothy says the DYBT will continue to provide training for young entrepreneurs.
DYBT, though affected by Hurricane Maria, continue to provide training to young entrepreneurs, existing and potential. The Dominica Youth Business Trust from the 11th to the 13th of December will be hosting its 21st Small Business Assistant Facility Training. Applicants are invited for young persons between the ages of 18 to 35 who are interested in developing their small business to apply. They can collect forms from the Dominica Youth Business Trust, which is on Kennedy Avenue, the former building of Jay's, from the Youth Development Division, from the various youth development officers. The deadline is the 14th of November 2018.
To bring down the curtains on Global Entrepreneurship Week, the DYBT gives young entrepreneurs the opportunity to showcase their work during an exhibition held at the government's headquarters on Friday. This open day is a collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development and the Dominica Association for Industry and Commerce. On Tuesday, November 13, 2018, Dominica welcomed the Viking Sea to its shores on its first of 9 calls to the island for the 2018-2019 cruise season. The vessel docked at the Woodbridge Bay port at 8 a.m., carrying approximately 1,000 passengers. To commemorate the event, a plaque ceremony was held aboard the ship at 10 a.m., where the government officials and cruise stakeholders were present at that ceremony. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Karen Prevost, extended a warm welcome to the captain and crew of the Viking Sea and thanked the stakeholders for their roles in making the event successful.
We would like to extend a warm welcome to you despite the weather. We are happy that you are among the first few ships for the 2018-2019 cruise season. As you are aware, we were affected badly by Hurricane Maria last year, but we've been working very hard along with our stakeholders, the tour operators, the ships agents, the sites, the Ministry of Environment through the Forestry Division and the Ministry of Tourism to get our sites and attractions back on board and ready for the 2018-19 season. Our staff at Discover Dominica Authority and also the ships agents and the tour operators have been working in the market to ensure that the ships can be back this season, and I would like to extend our appreciation on behalf of the Minister, who is unable to be here this morning, and the Ministry for the hard work that is being put out in the sector to ensure that you can be here and that your guests can have an enjoyable experience.
CEO of DASPA, Binwa Badwil, also welcomed the ship's captain and crew while urging passengers to take advantage of the excursions on the island.
We know that you're within the Caribbean region until sometime in March of 2019 before you go back to Europe, and so we want your passengers to really take advantage of the situation where we offer the waterfalls, we offer lots of tours, which blends with the natural environment in terms of the things that they do when they get to Dominica. So once again, let me say on behalf of the Ministry of Discover Dominica and the port to welcome you here in Dominica, and do hope that your passengers can take advantage of all the various tours that we offer here on island.
The Viking sea captain says he's happy to see how well Dominica has recovered after the devastation of Hurricane Maria in 2017, adding that passengers were eager to explore the island.
We should have been here last year, so I'm happy to see that the island has recovered so well after the impact last year. I think we're scheduled for 6 calls throughout the entire season. This is our first one, and we have more scheduled over the entire period. The last one. We'll stay in the Caribbean now until March. Most of the cruises here in the West Indies sound down to Colombia, and also have 2 trips down to the Amazon, where we'll be a little bit out of the area. But we'll have quite a few calls here, and even though it's raining a little bit and a little bit windy, we still have the nice temperature that a lot of our guests are coming to see, so we hope for it. We're happy to be back. Heard you have an amazing nature here, which we hope to discover, and I know for sure we had a lot of people very eager to get out this morning, so we'll be having an interesting and challenging day here. So thank you very much for having us.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS on facebook.com/GIS News Dominica and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Prisca Julien. Thanks for watching.